Hello and welcome to the California Energy Solution Program. I'm your host, David Esmaili, and we're here with Spence Erickson of PG&E's Clean Air Transportation Program. He's going to speak with us about electric and plug-in vehicles. Spence, thank you and welcome.
David, thank you for inviting me.
I guess first and foremost, what are plug-in vehicles?
Plug-in vehicles, there's a number of types of plug-in vehicles. Right now we have electric vehicles, which are essentially like your Teslas, which are the new electric hot rod vehicle that just came out this year, as well as a ZAP vehicle. You got neighborhood electric vehicles, which are like vehicles that can go around like small housing communities where low-speed electric vehicles would be allowed to roam around like the golf courses or the greens or even just some roadways and like some of the senior citizen communities. And these would be vehicles like your GEM cars, global electric motor cars, or Zins, Zebra, those types of cars. Then you have the plug-in hybrid vehicles, and these are the vehicles that will be in production probably in a couple of years. But right now we have people that have like Toyota Priuses, Ford Escapes, and for a certain amount of money you can go out and have those converted to be plug-in electric hybrid vehicles. And then lastly, you get the vehicle that everybody seems to be hearing about is the Volt, the GM Volt vehicle, which is called an extended range electric vehicle. And now this is a vehicle that operates much like a locomotive. Basically, it's an engine that drives a generator, then runs the power down to the electric motors on the wheels, and it powers that way. And that vehicle should be out maybe sometime in 2011.
So what's the biggest difference between, let's say, a plug-in hybrid and a regular hybrid? Are we seeing is there a big technological difference between the two?
There is a difference between the plug-ins and the regular hybrid. Hybrid vehicles they work in conjunction. Basically, you have a battery on board and an internal combustion engine, and they can work in conjunction together with electric motor assist, if you will, on the wheels of the vehicle. And basically that's where you can get your extra vehicle mileage, is that you got an electric motor assist, and that gives you your extended mileage, per gallon on the vehicle. A plug-in electric vehicle, basically you'll usually add a much larger battery on board, do something with the electronics on the vehicle that actually allow the vehicle to operate in an electric only mode. If you keep it down below a certain miles per hour, it's usually 35 miles an hour or less, and you can operate that vehicle in an electric only mode without even firing up the internal combustion engine. And that's kind of the concept that's going to be brought forward in major production in the year 2011.
So in 2011, are we going to see plug-in hybrids and electric vehicles, or are we just going to see the plug-in hybrids?
No, you see electric vehicles now. As you know, there's, like I mentioned earlier, you got the Tesla and the ZAP vehicles, as well as some of the neighborhood electric vehicles. In the future, we see folks like Nissan's probably going to be doing an electric vehicle, introducing that vehicle to the market. You got General Motors that's got their plug-in electric vehicles that they're wanting to introduce, as well as Toyota, which is going to be, is expected to also release a plug-in version of their highly popular Toyota Prius.
So are we going to see most of the versions of a hybrid now going to a plug-in, or is that something that the industry hasn't shown us yet?
No, the industry is moving in that direction. I do believe that the plug-in electric vehicle is going to revolutionize the automobile industry because it gives you the best of both worlds. You have the safety and the peace of mind of having a gasoline vehicle, which we have infrastructure all over. That's what everybody is used to, is being able to drive off a freeway, any corner in town, and be able to fill up your vehicle with gas. So you got the comfort of having that gasoline engine, but you also have the beauty of a large battery on board that allows you to go in electric only mode and gives you that ability to be able to go about 40 miles just on electricity only. And you can even just probably operate in electric only mode, just go home, plug in at your home, basically fill up your car with electricity and operate another 40 miles. And that's really most trips that people take in a day.
Are these vehicles really going to be production line vehicles, or are these going to be the aftermarket where they make them and then they have to tinker with them through a third-party system later?
No, these will be production vehicles. We're seeing the aftermarket vehicles today already. You have companies out there such as High Motion, Energy CS, which are producing conversion kits for today's hybrid electric vehicles. We have a number of them in the PG&E fleet right now that are high motion vehicles, and we're experiencing about 100 miles per gallon with our Toyota Prius that's been converted by high motion, which again allows us to operate in the battery only mode for about that first 30-40 miles, and then you have the battery assist and for the other 60 miles, and that's where you get the 100 miles per gallon figure.
So am I going to have to do anything special with my house? Or is there anything that I need to know before I buy these vehicles? Either a plug-in hybrid or a plug-in electric?
There's some things that you really need to think about when you're getting ready to purchase a plug-in electric vehicle. One is, where will you be charging your electric drive vehicle, and do you have a place to put it, as well as what type of equipment do you have at your home. Now, a number of these electric vehicles will be set up to operate on a 110, 120 volt circuit, which is most of the circuits in our garages, but some of the manufacturers are looking at the 240 volt system, which is basically that same plug that you would use for your electric dryer, which is a 240 volt. You would need to have a specific circuit set up to hardwire your charger to. The advantages of the 240 volt circuit is that you can probably charge your vehicle twice as fast as you would on 120 volt. You know, if you have the time, 120 volts should work out fine for you, but if you want that quick charge that you can get at home, the 240 volt charger will give you that charger. But keep in mind that 240 volt, that doesn't allow you just to plug in and plug out. You actually have to have a hardwired circuit where your charger is directly wired in there, and so you need to look at some of the infrastructure in your house. Also, if you're plugging into your garage, if you have like extra loads like refrigerators, tools, and lighting, you might have a bad Thanksgiving Day moment when you bring home your plug-in electric vehicle. When you plug in that vehicle, it might pop out the circuit breaker. Then you might need to look at what are your connected loads and kind of do some of those self-tests. And if you continue to pop the circuit breaker, instead of doing that repeatedly, you should consult an electrician and have them take a look at that.
So theoretically, my panel may not be strong enough for an electric vehicle. It may be something I need to take a look at. What about my meter? Can I use the same meter that I have, or do I have to look at a different type of meter for my house, and maybe even a different type of rate for my...
Well, PG&E does offer a special rate for plug-in electric vehicles. It's our E9 rate, which is your time of use rate. So if you don't have a time of use meter installed at your home right now, you'll need to be looking at getting a time of use meter. And this allows you to charge cheaply overnight. Again, electricity is used a lot during the day. As you know, during the summertime when the air conditioning load is heavy, then then we get up near kind of the capacity on our grid. And as far as electric vehicles, they can be set up, most of these vehicles will be set up with some sort of timer or mechanism to where you'll be allowed to charge your vehicle overnight when the electricity prices are low, when it's more environmental, because we got some of our cleaner loads out there, such as your wind energy would be kicking in overnight, and maybe some of the hydro. And could we go back to another question about locating your vehicle? Another question that you need to think about is, if you're purchasing an electric vehicle, like where you're going to charge it, think about if you're like in a townhouse, a condominium, a high-rise housing complex. Are you going to have infrastructure in the garage or at your carport? Because like most often, carports are only set up for like lighting loads. So this is something you need to start looking at right now with your homeowners association, maybe your landlord, if you're thinking about bringing these vehicles in, so you can be prepared for the advent of the plug-in electric vehicle.